Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The People Behind the Stories, the podcast where we highlight the voices and the journeys of those making an impact in our community. We're so excited to be with you today.
Yes, whether you're tuning in from the Valley or somewhere else, we're so excited for you to be here with us today. And today, accompanying us is none other than Mr. David Norec. Good afternoon, Mr. David Norec. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
No, thank you for being here. Before we get started and, we dive into the discussion today, could you please, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were raised, and what your community was like growing up?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in McAllen. Grew up, went to all the schools there, graduated from Mac High, went to UTPA at the time, graduated with a major in English and a minor in speech communications. And just recently, just last fall, I graduated with a master's in curriculum and education with a focus in English. So thank you. So I've been based here in the RGV since day one. And here's where I want to make the biggest impact, positive impact as possible.
What kind of early experiences would you say helped shape you, not only as an author, but as someone who cares about making a difference, specifically in this community?
In this community, well, if I'm going to talk about the author part, I think back of one teacher that her name is Mrs. Zenz, from McAllen, Travis Middle School. And a lot of people my age, they all remember Mrs. Zenz. She was like the English teacher, and she gave me a love and a fear of reading and writing. But because of that, I'm writing or whatever. And as far as, any kind of inspiration to do what I'm doing, trying to help the community, that really just came out of tragedy, losing a brother, two sisters to diabetes, seeing my whole family deal with that. It's like, how can I make a difference? I'd never thought I would be writing a children's book that would promote health and literacy here in the Valley, but that's where I am now. And I'm just trying to do my part to do the right thing with that.
And were all of your siblings lost to type 2 diabetes, or were they in different forms?
They were all from complications of type 2 diabetes. And, it's just something prevalent in our family, and we're just trying to stop that, prevent that as much as
Yeah, very
possible.
prevalent here in the Valley. It happens a lot.
So would you say that losing your loved ones was something that kind of sparked your interest in promoting not only like health advocacy, but writing a book, getting to kids, getting like kind of like in their face about it so that they can not only develop it as a hobby now, maybe as exercise, but as a lifestyle? Because being healthy, exercising, that's a lifestyle. It's not just something that for meanwhile, it's until you get older, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. It was after my brother passed away in 2013. My sister passed away in 2014. And, it was after my sister passed away. I was driving home from work. Simple prayer: God, if you want me to do something different with my life, put it in my heart right now. And the idea to write a children's book, calling it The Adventures of Exo and Psi, like exercise, having the story take place in a town called OB City, like obesity, with the mayor being Diabetes or diabetes. And inside the book, of course, having actual exercises for kids to get up, move around, and prove that, you can combine fitness and literacy together. And, as I go do school visits, I always have a question and answer after my presentation. And some of the kids sometimes will raise their hand, not with a question, but telling me, I have diabetes, or I have my mom or dad has diabetes, or my uncle or aunt passed away from diabetes. And to see that I can somehow have a positive impact on them, because that's where you want to target this disease, right? Is when they're little, get them to eat healthy, get out and exercise. Here in the Valley, in the Mission, McAllen, Edinburgh area. And I know McAllen is the city where everybody points the finger at, but if you look at the stats, it's the McAllen, Mission, and Edinburgh area. We are the most obese city in America for the past 8 years, according to Wallet Hub. Here in the RGV, over 40% of the population is either diabetic or pre-diabetic. 45% of the population is considered obese, with an additional 30% being overweight but not obese. And then lastly, one of the scariest ones, which I've learned ties into, what we eat, how we eat, is 42% of RGV residents are illiterate. And so we are just at the hub of the problems. And so it's like, what can we do to take that next step forward? But make a positive change. And hopefully this book and the books that are coming along the way also help with that.
And I'm glad that you're bringing awareness to this. I don't know if you've seen in the news lately or I guess like in the media, but they just came out with a type 1 diabetic Barbie because type 1 diabetes, as we know, isn't something, that you develop from eating bad. It's something that you're born with,
Yeah.
genetically. And I think I mean, a lot of people had, comments and concerns about it. And, now that we're bringing a lot of awareness to it, it's for inclusion and acceptance, and you bringing awareness to type 2 diabetes, because I think we all have Theo's family members um, who suffer and go through this because um, not only are we at the hot point of delicious food. I mean, we're at the greasiest, the most fattening, the most, but oh man, is it delicious.
Yeah.
And it's something that, we don't know any better. And considering my mom, and I'm sure your mom the same, and I'm assuming yours as well, it was ándale, cómele, mijo.
Yeah, of
Cómele,
course.
mijo.
Finish everything on the plate.
Otra tortilla, mijo.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't, it's not that they wanted us to have type 2 diabetes or get us fat, but it's because that was their way of like showing love. And that's in our Mexican culture. Food is connected to love.
To that.
The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. It's all of
Yes,
that.
it is.
And so and then tying back to the literate portion, a lot of people, when you don't know how to read, do you think they're going to take the time to read a food label?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
all these issues and the concerns, I like the way that you're trying to tackle this. And then we read your book, and the villains, if you will, Chip and Nacho.
Chip and
I
Nacho
thought
represent potato chips.
I loved the little, exactly, the little connections, the wordplay. But is there anything you would like to add, Frida?
Yeah, no. I have my cousin was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes when he was little. So he's already like in his 30s now, and he's been like doing it for a long time. I've seen it. I've grown up with him doing that, going into the kitchen, getting getting everything done. And yeah, it is something that is very common down here. Like you see it in schools, you see it as a kid in elementary school where the kid gets pulled out and the girl, they say why they're doing all that stuff. Yeah. It's very common down here, and it does tie back to a lot of the Mexican culture of why. And because we are so close to the border.
We are.
Yeah, that's like the little connection.
And the thing is too, like, a lot of times when you mention diabetes, people assume, okay, the person is unhealthy. Because with the book, I always ask the kids, I tell them to take notice. If the character in the book sounds like something healthy, then they're good guys. If the character sounds like something unhealthy, then they're bad guys. So exo and psi, exercise, that's healthy, they're good guys. Chip and nacho, potato chips, it's unhealthy, or it can be unhealthy, they're bad guys. So when I get to the character of diabetes, and I ask the kids, okay, is she a good guy or a bad guy? And normally the response is 50-50, like she's good, she's bad, and they don't understand. And that's where I can talk to them. Having diabetes does not mean you are out of shape. It doesn't mean you're overweight, especially with type 1. And I always bring up the example of Nick Jonas, of Jonas Brothers. He has type 1 diabetes. But if you look at him, he is fit, he eats healthy, and you would never think that he has diabetes. Right. And so I tell the kids, and so I tell them it's not necessarily that we're unhealthy. We can be if we have type 2 diabetes, but that's a misconception. But also, recently they're tying into diabetes, tying into like Alzheimer's and dementia, and almost, I think they want to call that type 3 diabetes now. So now we're seeing how diabetes can lead to all these other things. And that's why I always say my brother and sisters passed away because of complications of diabetes. Because from when I've talked to doctors, they say it's not the diabetes that kills you. It's everything else that comes with having untreated diabetes that you're not taking care of. That is what's going to kill you in the end.
All right, Mr. David Norec. So tell us, what keeps you motivated and what keeps you going to stay active in the community?
That is an amazing question because it's difficult, and I ask myself, as an entrepreneur now with this, I tell future entrepreneurs, every morning you're going to wake up with a million reasons to quit. You have to find 1,000,001 reasons to keep going every morning, every day. And for me, I think of my brother and my sisters. They're not here to fight. So I have to take that up and then take that fight with me every day. And then also just recently, you know, as I get older, my daughter just got accepted into med school here with the UTRGV here in the Valley. And I'm so excited about that. Thank you. And she wants to be a podiatrist.
For the feet.
Yeah, because of what she's seen in our family, and she wants to give back.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've told her I have several goals in life. I saw her graduate from college. In fact, and then I saw her we got our masters on the same weekend, different day, but to be able to graduate with her, getting our masters together, that was, you know, you can't
You can.
script that, right? That's just the way that works. God is awesome. And I told her I want to be there in person to hear them say, you know, doctor, and so I have to take care of myself. I have to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to take care of myself, to make sure I'm there on that day. Also, that I'm there to walk her down the aisle. You know, and so because there are some days where I really just like you know, I've taken a lot of good victories. I was featured in Texas Monthly this March. I was featured on the Dr. Phil show last year. Done a lot of cool things like that, but there's also been some losses where I've wondered, man, I don't know how I'm gonna get to the next step. Writing the second book, writing a third book, you know, that's not easy. It's not cheap. You know, I wish I could illustrate. My illustrator, it's about $3,000 per book, you know, and then I got to get books printed, so it's not easy. But at the end of the day, who's gonna fight? If not me, who's gonna do it?
Yeah.
You know, and so I have to. And if it's just one kid at school that tells me it was because of the book or because of something you wrote, because of your story, that I'm eating healthy now, that I'm exercising, you know, that's all that matters.
How selfless of you, Mr. David Norec. You know, that is awesome. Congratulations to your daughter, you know, on her acceptance, and I wish her the best.
Thank you.
I'm sure she will do well. It's not for the weak becoming, you know, a doctor,
Yeah,
especially in that field. A big heart she must have.
she does.
So congratulations to
Thank you.
her. If you're watching, congratulations. Um, and you know, I'm glad that you're bringing up the struggles of becoming an author,
Yeah,
because I mean, in anything, it's not just, you know, a battle today, tomorrow. It's a battle every day and for everyone, and especially for authors, especially
local. Yeah,
local down here who don't have so much exposure, um, because you know, it's just, it is what it is. South Texas usually is ignored and seen as everything of like almost fault. And I think slowly but surely we're starting to climb out of that hole. And you being such a selfless author and bringing light to how authors down here do struggle, because, you know, becoming an author is, to me, a selfless act. You know that you're not going to be winning as much as you would like
yeah,
to in your first years, in your first 10 years, but you're doing it out of heart. You know, you
yeah.
want to motivate these kids to be better for themselves, for their families. And like you said, you know, your goal is to see your daughter walk that stage,
Mm,
and that is very selfless of you. So I'm hoping that the authors out here who live in the valley, you know, don't get discouraged. You know, he has won, he has done so many good things, but you know, there has been losses, and that is normal. That comes with life. That is the beauty of it. To see all the good things that you've done, and to see all the stuff that you've had to be put down to make you a stronger person.
and I took a big loss a couple months ago. You know, and it really shook me to the point where I didn't know if I wanted to keep doing this. You know, I've had a lot of people tell me, just go back and get a regular job, you know, go back into the real world. I'm like, yeah, but then I can't do this. Who's going to do this? If there's somebody else that wants to do it and is going to do it well, then, you know, I'd be more than happy to. And so I had to, for a couple weeks, I just kind of shut everything down. And then, I don't know what, something inside me just woke up again. And I wrote The Grace of God. I wrote, in the last 3 weeks, I've written 2.5 books, and book two of this series is in the works right now. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, no, people say like ups and downs comes with every job, whether we like it or not. But I feel like an author specifically, especially from down here, where we don't have that like arm's reach with the media, I guess, like mainstream media. It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard to get out of those things. It's more like you got to go to exposures, you got to go network, you got to do all that stuff just to put out that one piece of literature because you believe in it and you hope other people will too.
Yeah.
So it is very selfless, as you said. It is. I feel like it is more work, but I feel like it's a good end result as well too.
Yeah,
To see it, to see you do what you do.
It's very fulfilling.
Yes.
That's the word fulfilling.
Very fulfilling.
So congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you on that, Mr. David Norec. Very truly inspiring. It's admirable on your behalf. But now talking about, your works, the author part, go ahead and talk to us about your new book that's coming out.
The Adventures of Aero and Bix, or Aerobics. So The Adventures of Aero and Bix or Aerobics is going to take place also in OB City. But this time the villain will be Candy Cane and her best friend Marcia Mello. So it's going to represent sweets. And same premise. There's going to be exercises in the book. Exo and Psy do not know Aero and Bix yet. Yet they will. I'm planning a series of 7 books. The third book, by the way, The Adventures of Aero and Bix should be out this November to coincide with Diabetes Awareness Month.
Stay tuned, guys.
Yeah.
It's November.
And then the third book will be called The Adventures of Flex and Bill, or Flexible. And the villain for that book will be Dr. Fizz. And again, that's going to represent sugary drinks. Again, Exo and Psy, Aero and Bix, Flex and Bill, they all don't know each other yet. And in the Flex and Bill book, instead of exercises, we're going to focus on like yoga, stretching, because it's flexible, right? But in book number 7, they're all going to come together and hopefully finally defeat Mayor Diabetes and all the other villains.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
That's this set of books. My company is now called Fit Lit, or Fitness Literacy. That's where these books come in. But I think over the last 2 weeks, like I mentioned, when I just got real down on myself, I needed to write something other than this.
Yes.
And I think sometimes, and that's what I tell the kids when I go do school visits. I'm like, write what you love. Read what I used to be an English teacher, and I would tell the kids, I don't care what you read something you like, because I don't ever want you to be like, oh, I hate reading. I don't care if it's a comic book, a magazine, get up, read it, whatever. So the first book I wrote, other than this, is called My Christmas Story. No, sorry, My Christmas Song. That's what it's called, My Christmas Song. And the premise of that is a little girl, based on my daughter. She comes home one day from school. She's sad because the kids at school made fun of her that her Christmas song isn't that special, her favorite Christmas song. And so then the dad, or me, begins to tell her, well, everybody has their own favorite Christmas song, and there's a story behind why it's their favorite. So then I take different Christmas songs, and it takes a reader to a different scene, explaining why it's special to that person. And yeah, it could be a memory, stuff like that. And so what's really cool about it too is I created a playlist on Spotify. So when you read the book, you download the playlist, and it's going to play those songs as you read through the pages. And because I love Christmas, like I'm not ashamed to say this anymore, but I think one year my daughter will laugh. One year, I think we had the tree up for 2 years straight.
It just brings so much joy. It really
Right?
does. It makes you so happy.
Yes.
Whenever my mom puts it up, I would come home from school and I would be so excited to see it changes the ambiance for sure.
I don't care what anybody says. November 1st,
It's up.
the Christmas tree's going up right after October.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Mariah is defrosting right now. It's like, no, I mean, there's something about Christmas, and at least for me, and for a lot of people, there's just something. And so I had to write that, and so I wrote that book. That one's very special. And then the second one, I'm a big 80s guy. I love 80s. I just love, it's kind of like Christmas. I love the vibe and of 80s. And so I wrote a book called Retrocade. And so this one, the character's a young boy. He's like 14 years old, and he goes to an arcade, like it's present day an arcade, but he goes in there, and but it has all kind of retro arcades. and the guy at the counter gives him a special token and tells him, go play this pinball machine that's way in the back. So he goes and he plays it, or he puts the token in. He doesn't realize that it's unplugged, and it just warps him into
A dimension.
the 80s. And so he, kind of like my Christmas song, he gets trapped in iconic 80s videos. So the video will have him in, like, the first one is Thriller. And again, I did a playlist, so when you read it, you download it and you can hear
Yeah.
and so at the end, he finds another token and he finds another pinball machine and he puts it in, thinking he's going to go back to home, but he doesn't realize that the pinball machine is just looks slightly different. So he's actually going to be warped into some other time period. So yeah. So I had to write those because I'm like, you know what? I need to read, not that this isn't fun to write,
You just need to change.
but because this became a business.
Yeah.
That has not. And so I'm like, you know what? I need to write something that really, really gives me the joy and the pleasure of writing even. Because again, as an English teacher, I hated to have my kids like hate writing. I'm like, guys, I don't want you to ever hate writing. Because if you begin to hate reading or writing, I'm doing a terrible job as a teacher.
Okay, Mr. David Norec, if you could collaborate or do or feature with anyone locally or globally, who would be your dream partner?
Locally, my answer is real easy, and that's a local author who's no longer doing it, Sean Elliott Russell. I don't know if he wrote "Be Still, Little Tree." It's an amazing book about getting kids to deal with anxiety, and it calms them down. It's a great book. When I first started writing, I reached out to him because he was doing a lot of great things here, and he gave of his time, and he gave me a lot of advice, and he pointed me in the right direction. And so I deal with a lot of the physical things with the Adventures of X and Psi, but he does mental. So I thought, man, Sean, it would be an amazing project collab to get in schools and do a presentation where you deal with the mental side, I deal with the physical. And his presentations were also very interactive. He rapped. He had the kids rapping and getting up. It's Mike. When I do my presentations, the kids are getting up. We're exercising. It would have been an amazing presentation. So I hope Sean, I hope you, because for years I've been trying to get him, like, Sean, it could be a mind, body, and soul, school presentation. So it would be him locally. Globally, I know she doesn't do it. She never did it, but S.E. Hinton, only because I love The Outsiders. I would love, like, hey, as an English teacher, that was the first book
That book made
that,
you fall in love with
yeah,
reading.
thank you. That was the first book that I introduced to the kids at the beginning of the year. They fell in love with it, and the rest of the year was easy. Anything I fed them after that was like,
They trust you.
they trusted me. I remember one of my best years. My principal was so open to, you're the teacher, you know best, you know these kids best. And so I would give the kid the choice. I would say, okay, here's a list of these books, and, like, let's say Stargirl was in there, right? Yes, because when you give them choice, they want to read.
It's independent.
Yeah, when you make them,
it's hard.
like, yeah, forget that.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, but so thank you again for that. I
Yeah.
hope Mr. Sean
Sean, please.
and what was the lady from The Outsiders?
S.E. Hinton.
S.E. Hinton, if you're listening, I hope that you reach out. But looking ahead, so go ahead and just tell us, what your goals are now professionally, what you're focusing on, maybe even personally, and any advice that you have to aspiring authors.
Hitting on the 42% of the valley that's illiterate. I can't ignore that. And so 3 years ago, I started something called South Texas AuthorCon. And really, I started it because the local authors and illustrators here, they weren't getting the recognition that they deserve. And there was a big book festival, I'm not going to say which one, that they would invite and pay authors from up north to come down, and they would have a very small local presence. And the local presence, by the way, when we get invited, they don't pay us. They don't buy any books from us, and then they're paying these authors to come down, and I didn't like that. So I said, you know what? We can do something better. And I'm a big Comic-Con geek. So I always thought it would be cool to start something like that down here, South Texas AuthorCon. Year one, we had it at the McAllen Creative Incubator. We had about 750 attendees that one day. Last year, we had it in San Benito. We had, I think, close to 3,000 attendees in the 2-day event. First day was for schools. Second day was for the public. This year, I'm so happy to announce that we are partnering with the City of Mission, um, the Spear Memorial Library in Mission, hopefully South Texas Literacy Coalition. We're going to be at the Mission Event Center, February 13th and 14th, 2026. This is a dream come. This is what I've always wanted. We already have 65 authors and illustrators that are all local, that are going to be there. And one celebrity, illustrator, Maddie Gonzalez, who illustrated R.L. Stein's Goosebumps, graphic novel books,
Yes.
but she is local. She was born and raised here in the Valley. And so I think we're going to have anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500 kids on day one. And then who knows how many in day two. So
Just a guesstimate. Because
that's just a guesstimate.
had more. Than
Yeah.
that. Mhm.
And so I'm working hard right now to not just alone, but like with amazing group of people to work on that for next year. But we're already starting now. We're going to have, and I'm glad you mentioned, I don't like to ever say this about myself, but a lot of the things I do, I don't do it for me. I do it for like the last 2 years. I haven't even at AuthorCon, I haven't even been able to have my own table there to sell, promote any of my books, because as the person in charge, I've been out there making sure everything works fine. This year, one of the ladies, a good friend of mine, Christy Gonzalez, she said, "Look, this year you need to accept help, and you need to be out there and be as an author." I'm like, "All right, I'll do it this year," and so I'm just excited for that, excited for everything that's going to happen with that, and so this year, because we're in the City of Mission, we're opening up to Mission CISD and Sherryland ISD. We're going to have a writing contest, children's book writing contest, YA, young or teen writing contest for middle school and high school, and an illustrating contest. And the winners, again, partnering with the City of Mission, EDC, we're going to give them a $500 author starter kit, where we're going to provide them with some books. We're going to provide them with the tablecloth, with the banners, and they're going to be featured authors and illustrators at South Texas AuthorCon. Yeah, so we're going to have elementary kids and middle school or high school kids with that. And I'm also in talks with hopefully UTRGV with their creative writing department to also do a writing contest for their department, also to be featured there at South Texas AuthorCon. So that's my priority right now. As far as the Adventures of Exo and Psy, I'm working to partner with the McAllen ISD to go in there and as well as Vanguard Academies, to go in and do the FitLit presentations, visit every school in their school district. So doing that, and hopefully we're going to do a story walk. We call ours FitLit Trail Tail Parks because they involve exercises.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're in talks right now to partner with the McAllen Public Library and the City of McAllen Parks and Rec Department to get that going. And we have interest from some parks in Austin, New York, and Detroit to get these FitLit Trail Tail Parks or story walks up there. So yeah,
You have a very
very busy. Very busy. It's no wonder like I was getting discouraged to like stop because
you had all these great things coming
yes,
forward, of course.
Yeah.
There's always a low before there's a big,
yes,
and that is so amazing. I'm so excited that you got out of your slump, and all these good things are coming towards you, and we wish you nothing but the
I
best.
appreciate that.
We're 100% on your side, and we've already
We've gone
helped
to
you in the past.
all 2 AuthorCons.
Yeah.
We've been to those.
Hopefully,
So of course, hopefully you guys are going to be there with us, and we do have something special that we hope to be cooking with South Texas Literacy Coalition. Can't say too much right now, but yeah.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much.
And real quick, thank you guys. Thanks South Texas Literacy Coalition for everything that you guys do here in the Rio Grande Valley. I know you guys. I'm in the in the forefront of the fight against diabetes, and you guys are at the forefront of the fight against illiteracy, and And from all the authors that have ever dealt with the South Texas Literacy Coalition, I know that I can speak for all of them in saying thank you for everything that you guys do. And I wish more people here in the Valley would see what the South Texas Literacy Coalition is doing and support them any way they can, because I don't know what, as an author, I don't know what we would do without you guys.
And thank you so much for being here, because
Yes.
you're also helping us out, giving us someone to talk to. And we hope to have more authors, local authors, give you guys exposure, hear a little bit about your story. And just again, thank you so much for being with us today. And we hope you enjoyed your time here. We definitely
Loved it. Thank you.
And we enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about yourself. David, before we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to promote to the people? Go ahead and directly say it there.
Hey folks, so we would love to see you at South Texas AuthorCon 2026, February 13th and 14th at the Mission Event Center. If you'd like to be a part of it as an author, as an illustrator, maybe you know somebody, we are going to have vendors at the event. If there is any way that you want to be a part of South Texas AuthorCon 2026, helping in fighting illiteracy here in the Rio Grande Valley, please reach out to me, David Norec at fitlitmovement.org, or you can visit southtexasauthorcon.com for more information. Thank you so much. God bless.
All right.
Thank you again so much for joining us here today. We had an amazing time hearing your story and what motivates you to keep on writing, keep on going here in the community. So thank you.
Thank you guys.
And to everyone here spending time with us, thank you so much for tuning in to the people behind the stories. We hope to catch you in our next episode, and hopefully we, have an author that you guys would like to listen to. So if you have someone in mind, go ahead and leave it in the comments. But until next time, bye.